What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. It is preview day. Everton away. Always a difficult game. A lot of injury news to get through. A lot of transfer news. Well, a bit of transfer news to get through, but mainly here for the Everton preview. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Yeah, nervous, to be honest. Considering.
No need to be nervous, mate.
No, you sure about that?
No need to be nervous.
No need to have false bravado. You saw how we played on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we saw Everton are a tough team to play. Not Goodison anymore. It's the, what's it called? Harry Dickinson. Harold, what is it?
The Hill Dickinson.
Hill Dickinson Stadium.
The Harry Kane Stadium.
Harry Kane Stadium. I think they're also the team that broke Palace's unbeaten run at the Hill Dickinson Stadium with a win there. They've been very tough to play against at home. So I'm not going into this game expecting anything but a very difficult game. Are they unbeaten at home this season?
Yeah, no one's won there, I don't think.
I'm not expecting a win. Look, we'll get into the preview, but I'm not saying we've got no chance. I'm not saying we're going there without a prayer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I'll be very surprised and impressed if we come away with all 3 points.
Be a major result if we do. It will be a major result if we can go there and win. But we'll get into all the preview stuff in a little bit. We're going to start off with a Tottenham update. And first of all, we're going to talk about the team news going into the game this weekend as laid on by Thomas Frank in the press conference today. So starting off with Romero, he says that Kuti was out running on the grass, positive and progressing, however, no time frame, but not a long one. So I guess he's given us some positives and then a bit of a drawback saying no time frame, but he's saying not a long one.
I'm not expecting to see him until after the international break, I think.
Really? Why?
Because he's only just back on the grass, and it's one you've got to be very careful with, these injuries. And he's obviously got not rushed back, but he came back, I don't know, he came back from Argentina, was set to start, pulled up in the warm-up, and so they thought he was ready for that game. Turned out he wasn't, pulled up in the warm-up, got injured. So now you've got to be very careful when you reintroduce him. And he's recovered, he's back on the grass, but is he going to... I don't know. He's not fit for this weekend. Is he going to be fit for Newcastle on Tuesday? If not, how many games is left till the international break?
I think international break is 4 games away.
So you got this one, Newcastle. Then you got a weekend game against
Chelsea,
and
then midweek Champions League, and then Manchester United.
And United. Okay, so maybe that United game. I'm thinking. I don't know about before then. You got to be so careful because if you reintroduce him too early and he aggravates and gets a big injury, we saw what happened last season. So
I got a feeling he'll be back for the Copenhagen game.
Okay, so that's what, 3 games time.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe then. But like they're saying, touch and go, maybe Chelsea. End of the day, it's a big blow. Him being out because he's such a big part of our team. Captain, he's been phenomenal this season, and with all our problems on the ball, I think he goes a long way to solving a few of those issues. Not all of them, but a few of them. So any game without him is tough. We haven't won a game yet without him this season, albeit not many games, but still haven't won yet. So we have to break that duck. Okay, we beat Doncaster, but proper games we haven't won. So it's going to be tough without him. But let's hope this weekend we can break that duck. But yeah, it's a blow. Any game without him, it's a massive blow.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's a massive loss whenever Kuti's out. He's like that glue that sticks that defence together, not just from a defensive standpoint, but just a offensive standpoint and the way we like to play our game as well. So Romero is definitely out. In terms of Destiny, he says that Destiny is not on the grass yet, but still progressing. Again, not a long one. So he's not even on the grass yet.
Yeah, which is really... I think he might be even a bigger blow, to be honest, Udogie, because I think we look a different team, especially down the left-hand side when he's in the team. I think it's so much better, in my opinion, especially going forward. And defensively, I don't think he's hurt us either. So I think it's just been a lot better when Udogie's been there. So the fact that he's out, obviously we're now rotating Spencer and Gray. To be fair, Gray did really well on Wednesday, so I don't want to take that away from him. But I think obviously not having a player who can offer what Udogie offers when he's in the team is really concerning. And I think Odegaard is looking better and better, but I think he was looking even. I think he was maybe even looking good when Udogie was there as well. So they were getting a really good rapport. I think we just need to be a bit more. I'm guessing Spencer's going to start. We'll get into the lineup, but we need to see a bit more from Spence linking up with Odegaard and getting him overlapping like Gray was doing, which he for some reason just doesn't seem to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against starting Gray there again, to be honest. I think he had a really good performance, and I think he might link up with Odegaard a bit better than maybe what we've seen from Spence.
I mean, he was overlapping more.
Exactly. So that's destiny. In terms of Dom Solanke, he said Dom positive. He's taking steps in the right direction, and he was on the grass, but on his own today.
We have heard that for like 2 months, but obviously he was there like
he was on and came off.
Then off. Then he had surgery because whatever happened, it didn't work out. He needed surgery, so the fact he's back on the grass is good. How long that means, I don't know. But again, another one. Clearly, he's had surgery. You've got to be careful with him with this ankle problem he's had. I think he is going to be also such a big help to the team when he's in there, because I think we've had such a big problem holding the ball up. So, yeah, I think we need him. We need him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get what's going on with Solanke. It's just like one thing after another, like ever since he's joined, to be honest. Like he'd never had an injury before he came to Tottenham, comes to Spurs, gets injured in like the first couple of weeks of the season, then a long stretch playing, and then a long stretch out, and then this season it's just literally been no end of injury problems. So Richarlison's not really doing it. Muani's only just coming into the fold now. He scored his last time out against Leeds, but, on a whole, he's not really doing it in the number 9. So we need more options there, and Dom Solanke, could be a vital cog in that, but we just don't know when he's going to return.
It's such an issue. And I think we looked so much better last season when he was available as well, and he was fit and he contributing. So let's hope the sooner the better for him.
And on Kolo Muani, he says that it is the first time he has had a sustained block of training and minutes. He is not at the stage, though, where he could be bombarded with 90 minutes at this intensity. So I'm guessing that Muani's not going to start, and he's going to get another cameo off the bench, maybe a bit of a longer one. As, first time he got 10 minutes, then he's got 20 minutes. Maybe he'll get half an hour this time.
Yes, they're building him up, which is, the right thing to do when you come back from an injury. But it's a shame, again. It's just so frustrating. We're nearly in November now, and we haven't really seen Muani and Solanke make any sort of impact in the team, not because of anything else other than their availability. So you saw a glimpse of Muani on Wednesday, looked quite good. Let's hope we see a bit longer on Sunday, but yeah, it sounds like he's not going to be starting.
Yeah. So that's 2 strikers we've spoken about. Let's speak about our Brazilian number 9. Not team news, but potential transfer news, as a publication called Team Talk, very reliable, of course, says that Everton are ready to re-sign Brazilian forward Richarlison, with Tottenham considering putting the 28-year-old on the market in January. David Moyes needs a goal scorer to finish the chances that Jack Grealish and Iliman Ndiaye are providing, and Richarlison could be the perfect addition. That would be a decent strike force for the Everton, though, wouldn't it? Like Grealish, Richarlison, and Ndiaye.
A fan favourite, going back to Everton
We've
as well.
About this so many times though,
I know.
over the months.
I don't think he goes to Everton. I think if Everton are interested and they make a bid, I think Tottenham will be open to it. But I think, look, it's World Cup year. If he's we'll see what's happening come January. But if he's still playing regularly come January at Spurs, then I don't think he's going to want to make a move to Everton. And then come the summer, I think that Orlando thing, I think there's actual legs to that. I've just got a feeling that Orlando's serious about it.
Why would he go to Orlando at 29, though?
Because they're selling him a project. There's a lot of Brazilians there, apparently, living in Orlando. And he can maybe head this thing, whatever. Maybe they're offering him a lot of money. Depends. Depends how the next year goes. But I think that there's no smoke without fire with this Orlando thing. I've got a feeling about it.
I cannot see him going to Orlando at this stage of his career. Maybe a few years down the line, but surely not at 29. Richarlison, he's literally still getting in the Brazilian squad. There's no need to go to Orlando now.
I'm watching him at the moment. I think he's really struggling physically. I think there's a problem there. I'm watching old clips of him, and he he looks a shadow of that player that used to be so much hustle and bustle and just like be able to beat players, and he was be able to spin in behind them. That physicality is just we rarely see it now. It's like we see it in fits and spurts, but it seems like I think he's having a real problem physically.
Maybe, but I still think he backs himself to perform at the top level. And backing yourself at the top level is not agreeing to go to the MLS at 29.
We'll see in a year's time.
Like, I don't know. I feel like there could be more legs in I know it's not a reliable source, but for him to go back to Everton, go to another place where he loved, the fans love him, I think he could perform well there. Maybe not as kind of bigger pressure as it is to be at Tottenham. I see from now until January his game time decreasing, to be honest. With Solanke coming back, with Moani getting to full fitness, there are going to be less minutes for him. So if he doesn't get those minutes from now until January, and some bids start coming in or some interest start coming in, will he start thinking, well, yeah, you know what, World Cup year, let me go get some real minutes somewhere?
Yeah, if he's not in the team at all, yeah, I think. But if he's playing regularly, I don't think he'll want to move in January.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I see his game time diminishing a bit.
It will, because we have to play him now. So obviously it's going to get lower.
Now, yeah.
I'm saying it's obviously going to get lower because we have to play him now. But I still think he'll be regularly playing.
But like, to get a real chance in that Brazil squad, I think he would probably, like, for his sake, like mind safety, wants to be a main man somewhere, and at Everton he'll be a main man.
Yeah, but they also got two other strikers right now. I'm sure he'll be I think he'll back himself to be the best one. But right now, I think he might back himself to be the best one here as well.
So who they got? They got Beto, who is better than
Barry.
And Barry. Yeah, I mean he's definitely the best striker of the lot. Where at Spurs you can't really say that.
Can't say that, but you also can't say he's definitely not.
No, but I think like the quality levels between him, Beto, and Barry, like he's a lot better than them in my opinion. Whereas Solanke, even Tell, Moani, I mean, I would say Moani and Solanke are better than him, but the quality levels are just different, isn't it?
I agree with you, but I think we'll see. We'll see what's happening with him between now and January. If it's really he's barely getting a start and he's only coming on in sub cameo appearances, yeah, I agree with you. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's still going to get a fair amount of starts.
Fair enough. Next up, we're going to talk about Marc-Andre ter Stegen once again, as the Bleacher Report saying Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been offered a series of Premier League clubs, including Manchester United, Tottenham and West Ham. Barcelona are ready to sanction a loan move to the Premier League to offload a portion of his wages. He hasn't not played this season due to a back surgery, but he knows he's already no longer first choice at Barcelona, and he is back to full fitness in November, so just around the corner. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I mean, he hasn't played regular football for so long now, been injured for so long, the age of 33. We've got Vicario, who's just had an absolute worldie of a performance. We've got Kinski on the bench as well. I just don't think there's any need really to dip into him or to dip into a keeper at all in January.
Yeah, I think it's a bit unnecessary, to be honest. And also, he's been out of form even when he's been fit for a few years, so it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe as like a sub keeper if you wanted him ahead of Kinski, but I wouldn't sign him to be number one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But 33 is not exactly that old for a keeper, though, is it? Like he has been like a world-class keeper in the past.
Has been.
Yeah.
He is a has-been, pretty much.
Yeah, do you think so?
Yeah, he's been out of form for a while. He's been injured, and even when he was fit, Barca fans hate him. They really think he's awful.
Would you take Marc-Andre ter Stegen instead of Vicario, instead of Kinski? I mean, there's no point kind of stunting Kinski's progression for a 33-year-old keeper. There's no point in it. Unless
you feel he's more ready than Kinski to step in. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't. I'd rather not. But unless he's hesitant to put Kinski in for some reason.
If we didn't have Kinski, I think it would make sense, like for a Fraser Forster role kind of thing. But yeah, because we've got Kinski, there's just no point in it.
No, I mean he's probably a better keeper than Kinski right now, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'd much rather give Kinski the opportunities.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Job Bellingham, which is an interesting one. The Footy Insider are claiming that Job Bellingham could be on his way out of Borussia Dortmund in January, with a return to England looking increasingly likely. The 20-year-old has endured a difficult spell in Germany, starting only 2 Bundesliga matches under Niko Kovac this season. Struggling for minutes, Dortmund are considering sending him out on loan in the winter window, with Manchester United, Tottenham and Crystal Palace all interested. Very good talent, Job Bellingham. He really is. I'm actually quite surprised that he hasn't got more minutes than he has at Borussia Dortmund. He played really well in the Club World Cup for Dortmund, scoring a goal or two. Dortmund obviously high flying this season, having a really good season so far, and Job Bellingham not seeming to get looking.
Well, he started in their last game in the Champions League, so can't
Only 2
be.
Bundesliga starts.
Yeah, and he's 20 years old. I know everyone wants him to be the next Jude Bellingham because his name is Bellingham, but not everyone can have such a meteoric rise like his brother. So I think if he's committed to Dortmund, yes, Jude went in there and just hit the ground running, didn't he? And within 2 years, 3 years, he was at Real Madrid, and his story is 1 in a million. Obviously, they've brought him in and it's like, okay, go on, be Jude, be your brother. And it hasn't quite worked out like that. But if I was him, I would remain calm. It's so early. You're less than 3 or 4 months into your Dortmund career. You've also had some bright spots as well. It's not like he's been all bad. Yes, at the moment he's struggling, but I don't think he's going to rush to leave in January. Yeah,
I've read some reports on this. Like, apparently his parents are really unhappy with the way it's going at Dortmund, and apparently there's like his mum or his dad, I can't remember which one, have been really complaining to the manager and to the hierarchy of Dortmund about the amount of minutes he is getting, and that's not a good situation.
No,
you don't want your parents to start complaining to the club,
and you don't want a player whose parents do that. You know what I mean? And that's gonna, for prospective buyers, you don't want to sign someone who you know that if he's not doing it in training, you're going to get an earful from mum and dad. That's just not a situation you want to get involved in.
Yeah, it's
unless he's that good, he's worth it. I don't know if Job is that good.
I mean, whenever I've seen him play, I've been quite impressed. Obviously, smashed out the Championship last season with Sunderland. Got a big money move to Dortmund this summer. It was like fairly significant money. I do think he's a very good talent. I think he's always going to be compared to his brother, isn't it? Which I think is really unfair on Job. But I do think he's definitely got something there for sure.
Would he be at Dortmund right now if he wasn't called Bellingham?
Would he be? I don't know. He had a really good season in his own right in the Championship last season.
But it works in your favour sometimes. And yeah, obviously he's I think he's on the limelight more because he's a Bellingham.
Yeah, but like even if his name wasn't Bellingham, he still had a really good season last year, and it would have put a lot of teams' interest.
Yeah, it did. I understand that, but maybe he wouldn't have got a club as big as Dortmund.
Maybe. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Jean-Philippe Mateta, as Manchester United, Newcastle and Tottenham are now all monitoring Crystal Palace striker Mateta. The French forward has opted against signing a new contract at Crystal Palace as he wants to take his career onto the next level. With just 18 months remaining on his contract, Mateta could be available for around £40 million.
Who is this according to? Didn't want to say. You just made it up.
No, it's like the boot room or something.
The boot room. I like Mateta.
The daily briefing or the football briefing or something along those lines.
I think if you look at Mateta at the moment, I think this public spat with Zaha actually maybe reveals a lot about his mentality in the sense that whether, look, I don't want to get into who to believe between Zaha and Mateta, but Mateta is saying Zaha laughed at him, right? When he suggested he could be playing for France. And he's like, no, you're never going to get it. Now
it was a bit of a different situation to that than just Zaha laughing at him. Like, at that time he said it, there were obviously like world-class French strikers, and he said, and there was like 10 players in the dressing room being like, yeah, I don't think you're getting a look in at at France because you've got Mbappe and Benzema and Giroud and these kind of players there.
That's not the point. My point is his mentality. He heard those laughs, and he wasn't even in the Palace team that much at the time as well. He's kind of in and out, but he dug in, worked very, very hard, and has become a regular goal scorer in the Premier League. And now he's made his French debut and got a goal. And I think he looks at that career trajectory and he thinks, okay, my career has gone like this over the past couple of years. Is it time to make that next step from, Palace side? We're in Europe this year, but is this like the ceiling for Palace? Can it get much better than this? So I understand maybe he's thinking, if I don't sign a contract, maybe some bigger teams will come in for me. It's interesting that no one really came in from in the summer, considering there was such big interest from for strikers. Newcastle bidding 50 million for Strand-Larsen. They ended up paying 85 for Voltmader. Yet no one looked at Mateta. United went big on Sesko. There was a big striker search for a lot of clubs in the summer, even us. And no one looked at Mateta in the summer for one reason or another. But I like him. I think he's a battering ram, such physicality, good finishing as well. I do like him. I think he's really developed himself over the last couple of years, to be honest.
So you're taking him for 40? You think?
I think 40 million is a good price, to be honest.
How much better do you think he is than what we got?
I think just purely as a player, I think quality wise, what we have isn't. I think could be as good as him with the right structure and whatever, right service. I think if you put our strikers where Mateta's been, I think they could also get similar amount of goals, in my opinion.
Because it's only since like Ollie Glasner's come in that he's like really taking it onto the next level, isn't it? Because I remember when Glasner came in, he just like a switch flipped in him, didn't he? And we're like, how is Mateta getting all these goals? And like he just never stopped, has he?
It's incredible, yeah. His rise over the past couple of years. So I think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see him as being much better than our strikers right now. Albeit he's getting more goals at the moment,
consistently as well,
which is true. I just think, in terms of just purely as players, I don't know if he's much better than what we have.
But you got
a player who's informed and he's scoring. So if you've 40 million and you sell Richarlison, you get him in, I'll do that.
I think he's better than Richarlison, in my opinion. Well, he's definitely shown the ability to get a lot more goals than Richarlison. Richarlison has never got over 13 Premier League goals in a season. He's done that consistently for the last 2 years. What's his numbers? So he's already got 5 this season, 14 last season, 16 the year before. These are really good numbers. Really good numbers. Something that Richarlison could only dream of at this stage.
Well, I agree. No, I said I'd swap them.
Yeah. So that's it. That is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below on that matter. Would you take Jean-Philippe Mateta at Spurs? Is he better than what we have? Let us know in the comment section below. That is your Tottenham update for today. Let's move on and let's go to a predicted lineup. Tottenham against Everton in the Premier League, 4:30 kickoff. The primetime games, Sunday, 4:30, man. It's Super Sunday, the head of Super Sunday. So we're going to get into the predicted lineup. In terms of the team news, a lot of injury news to talk about today. So what's team news going into the game?
As you can see, you can see it now. Maddison, Decky, Dragoshin, obviously still unavailable. Although Dragoshin, I think, must be getting near because he's been on the grass for now with the team a while. We know Solanke, he's back on the grass, but he's unavailable. It says Moani there, but he's actually fit. I should have taken that. He's obviously available. Romero, Udogie, picked up injuries a couple games ago. They're now unavailable. We'll have to wait and see how long for. Frank not giving a time frame, which is not good news, but let's hope it's not too long. He did say they're not too bad, but what does that mean? Does it mean it's weeks, not months? Does it mean it's days? We'll have to wait and see. Basuma had surgery in midweek. He's set for a long spell on the sidelines, which is not good news for him. Ben Davies picked up a hamstring injury during international duty, and Kota Takai is, from what I believe, not injured, but still not available.
Kota Takai one is so strange, isn't it? I mean, we have not seen an inkling of him since he's been injured ever since. But look, let's get into the predicted lineup.
We'll do Betmate first.
Oh, sorry, yeah. We are sponsored by Betmate, by the way, people. Everyone's been really enjoying the game, joining our pots. We've had big numbers every single week that we've been doing this.
We've been in the money a couple of weeks.
A couple of times. Last week, I think both of us finished near the bottom.
That was a shocker.
It was an absolute shocker.
Backing Spurs too hard against Villa.
But there is £100 up for grabs, people, completely free to play. So if you love FPL and you love making money, this is the place to be, people. If you want to join our private pot for the Everton Spurs game, QR code is on screen. The link is in the description as well. So the way it works is you build a 7-a-side team built of mixture of Everton and Spurs players.
A maximum of 6 from one team.
Yeah, exactly. Maximum of 6 from one team. And the scoring works very similar to the way the FPL scoring works. You get, well, now in FPL, you get defensive contributions, but you get rewarded for defensive contributions, attacking contributions, and obviously whoever gets the most points wins the money. And we're going to show you our couple of teams now. Let's start off with Sims.
Well, that's not mine, that's yours.
Is that mine?
Yeah.
All right. Let's start off with mine then. I've gone Vicario in goal. I think that Vicario might come under a lot of pressure this weekend, particularly from like set pieces and stuff. And I think with Vicario, he's on the back of an unbelievable performance. Hopefully, he's going to make a lot of saves. He can take that form into this game. And I'm praying for a clean sheet, not expecting one. But I have gone Vicario in goal.
Each save you make, you get 1 point. So.
Exactly. So if we would have done this for the Monaco game, Vicario would have done a lot of points. In defence, I've gone for Mickey van der Ven at the back because I think, you know, he can come into question a lot. I think he made a lot of defensive contributions in that Monaco game. I've gone for Michael Keane alongside him. And Michael Keane's an interesting one because he does get himself involved in a lot of defensive contributions during a game. He's actually averaging over 4.5 points per game on Betmate. So that's a quite significant points tally. My captain and vice captain, I've gone for captain João Palhinha, because I see this game being a very combative game, a game where it's going to be a lot of like defensive contributions, and that's what I've kind of focused on. So I've gone for João Palhinha as captain, and also João Palhinha, he's got us 3 goals this season. He's got us an assist or 2 as well. So if we're going to score from a set piece or something like that, João Palhinha might be very heavily involved in that. So I've gone for him as my captain. I've gone for James Garner as my vice captain because I think James Garner as well gets involved in a lot of defensive contributions. He also likes to take a few shots as well, so you never know, one of them could fly in. So I've gone for him as my vice. And up front, I've gone for Iliman Ndiaye and Richarlison. So I'm not sure if Richarlison's going to start, so I might actually change that last minute if he doesn't start. But if he does start, he's got previous up at Goodison, and hopefully he can put one in the back of the net. And Iliman Ndiaye, I think, again, he gets involved in quite a few defensive contributions and also can get involved in the goal contributions as well.
Yeah, so I've gone for Vicario in goal, similar reasons to you. I think we'll make a lot of saves. In defence, I've gone for Jed Spence and Tarkowski. Both who I think will start, and I think Spence, you know, up against the Ndiaye, good duels to be had there.
Tarkowski on for a booking though.
Tarkowski, maybe a booking, but also maybe gets a lot of defensive contributions. In midfield, I've similar to you, I've gone captain Palhinha. Similar reasons. I think it's going to be a very combative game, and I think he's going to get a lot of tackles, interceptions. And vice captain Kudus, just because I think he also gets involved in a lot of duels. So I went for him. And up front, Ndiaye and Grealish. I didn't really fancy any of the Tottenham front line at the moment, so I went for Ndiaye and Grealish.
All right, so that is our Betmate teams. Please do join our pot, completely free to play, people. Come and take us on, see if you can beat us. I think pretty much everyone that played last week did beat us, but we mean business this weekend. We mean business this weekend.
Even picking Everton, like more Everton players, both of us. But like, okay, we need to get serious now.
Exactly. But look, it is time to get into our predicted lineup. We've been through the team news. We're going to go for a 4-2-3-1 formation like we've seen in recent weeks. In goal is obviously going to be Guillermo Vicario. You know, a lot of question marks over his spot in the team in recent weeks. But on the back of that Monaco game, I don't think anyone's questioning that anymore.
No, absolutely. We were saying Monaco, maybe put Kinski in, maybe it's time. But look, Vicario played and answered the critics massively with an incredible performance. So he obviously has to keep his place. And look, he is still a very important player in the dressing room. So if he's playing like he did on Wednesday, got no problem with him.
So yeah, Vic in goal, right back. Obviously the trusted Pedro Porro. I feel like Pedro Porro does have to improve his levels at this moment in time. I think he has been a bit susceptible in terms of his defending. Obviously, his one-on-one defending was okay last game, but I think we did allow way too many crosses from that side against Monaco. And from an attacking perspective as well, I want to see him get a bit better. I want to see his passing just be a bit more accurate, because I think in recent weeks it's been a bit wayward.
Yeah. The problem is, at the moment, we can't really take him out of the team because the dog is now injured, which means Spence kind of has to play left back.
Unless you put Archie Gray back there.
Yeah, but we kind of put Archie Gray in place of Spence when we're rotating Spence, which means usually Gray comes in when we want to give Spence to rest. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but look, I'm not saying we're going to do this, and I'm not advocating to do this, but there is an option to put Spence at right back and Gray at left back.
Yeah, but at the moment it seems Porro's Mr. Durability, plays every game, and we're just
Should
so
that be the case though?
It shouldn't be the case, but because of our
but as Spence can play from both sides, then it should be the case on both sides.
So can Gray.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him get a rest, but at the moment it seems as though we're not going to.
Maybe give him a rest against Copenhagen.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Then yep. But yeah, he has to improve. I agree. He's going to be up against Grealish. Tough test for him.
Yeah, for sure. And Grealish, he knows how to take in a man or two. So I think Pedro Porro has definitely got his work cut out. Again, though, because we got Grealish on that side, maybe we should play Spence at right back. I think he will go for Porro, but maybe it's an opportunity to play Spence at right back for that one-on-one defending.
And Greg Ntindai?
Yeah.
I think I want Spence against Ndai with that pace.
Would you rather Spence against Ndai or Spence against Grealish?
I think Grealish, you're not worried about pace. You're worried about he's very good when he gets close to you. Just getting that yard.
Yeah.
I think Porro can handle that okay. I'm not worried about that. It's more that when they go down the line and attack the space, that's where you want Spence.
I don't know. But we'll see. I think we're definitely going to go for Porro anyway. Right centre-back is going to be big Kevin Danso. And I think Danso is going to be really important in this game, to be honest. I think big physical defender, aerial duels is where he really earns his money. And I think that's going to come into question a lot this game.
Agreed. Corners, we hear how David Moyes' team's focused on those moments, and they got big centre backs in Tarkowski and Keane, and big strikers in Barry and Better as well. So I think I agree. There's going to be a lot of long balls into the back line, a lot of pressure put on our back line. I think the brunt of it is going to come to Danso to deal with it.
Yeah, and a big physical challenge against Beto as well, who's he's a lump, isn't he, Beto? Big physical striker. Hasn't really done it this season, really, Beto. I think they've kind of been really frustrated with him and taken him off early in games and gone to Barry, and then Barry started. He hasn't really done it, and then brought on Beto quite early. So their number 9 ain't really working too much. But we know when you're playing against Beto, you're in for a physical challenge, that's for sure.
I watched him at Anfield. He was a handful.
Yeah.
Absolute handful.
So left centre-back, obviously going to be Mickey van der Ven. I think he's been just immaculate this season. Captain over the last couple of games, and he'll be captain again tomorrow on Sunday.
Yeah, he's going to be so important, so he has to start.
Moving on to the left back, so it's toss up between Gray and Spence. I fully expect Spence to play after being rested in midweek.
Agreed. I think Spence comes in, but doesn't necessarily mean Gray comes out. If you know what I mean.
Well, it does mean Gray comes out.
No, not necessarily.
I think it does.
Not necessarily.
You think Gray's going to start?
We can talk about it, but I'm just saying, I think there's a chance. I think he deserves to start.
Yeah, I do think he deserves to start, but I'm just not sure he will start. But we're going for Vicario in goals, Porro right back, Danso and Van der Ven in the centre-back positions, and Jed Spence at left back. Just before we move on to the midfield, actually, I just see you guys, a few in the comments saying the stream, there's something wrong with the stream, Vinny.
Yeah, it seems all right.
Is it all right, guys?
It's looking... But a few of you said it, so... What's lagging exactly? Is it in sync? Can you see? Fine. Oh. Yeah? We good?
It's okay now. All right. Let's move on to the midfield, people. And I think the player that we know that is definitely going to play is going to be João Palhinha. He's going to be, he's vital in every game. But I think this game it's going to be a big physical battle and we're going to need him.
Yeah, and even on, say, we're in a game where our midfield was sliced open, he was still making those challenges. He's so combative. He's just so important in every game. And they're going to play a midfield two of Idrissa Gueye and Garner, probably. Two very physical, very energetic midfielders. You're going to need Palhinha in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, alongside João Palhinha, we got Rodrigo Bentancur, we've got Pat Mateta, we got Archie Gray, we got Lucas Bergvall. What are you thinking?
I want to see Gray, personally. I thought he came into midfield against Monaco in the latter stages and did really well. So I want to see him. But Frank in his press conference said he sees no problem with Palhinha and Bentancur. He's happy with them. This is obviously a game where do you need that experience? Do you need that those two? Will he feel like he needs those two together? I think in a perfect world, would I like to see Bergvall there potentially? To allow us to be a bit more free-flowing. And I think he's got the hustle and bustle to match their energy anyway. I think he could obviously, he's like a really great number 8. So I think him next to Palhinha would be perfect. I think in a less perfect world, Gray, because he deserves it and maybe offers a bit more defensive stability. Sarr hasn't obviously started in a while. So he maybe needs a shout. But is he just going to land on Bentancur again?
I don't think he will. I think Bentancur needs a rest or to come out of the firing line a little bit. I think he's going to go Pape, I think he's going to go Palhinha alongside Pape. Pape, obviously, he's physical in the middle there. He'll be able to handle the occasion in that sense. Good box-to-box player. He's a threat going forward and he helps us out defensively as well. I got a feeling as well he hasn't played and started a game in quite a while. I think it's going to be Pape alongside João Palhinha.
I'm undecided, so I'm happy to go Pape. I really hope it's Gray. I just don't know. I don't know about a pivot of Pape and Palhinha, but we'll see.
The last time we played a pivot of Pape and Palhinha, we won 3-0 against West Ham.
Yes, we did.
So,
a very poor West Ham team.
Sure, it's a very poor West Ham team. It was but the team looked good that day.
Well, and once West Ham went down to 10 men.
Yeah, true. I guess.
But I actually think before that we actually didn't look good. But it doesn't mean we won't look good in this game.
And we had Bergvall in the 10 that game, but I expect Javi Simmons to come straight back in the 10.
Well, didn't start on midweek, so I think that means he was rested. I think he's interesting. He was telling his press conference, he said in some of his starts, he's tired come the 60th minute. So clearly it's still something he's managing with Javi at the moment.
Yeah, so Javi in the 10, moving on to the forward line, I think who's certain is Mohamed Kudus on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mohamed Kudus, I want to see him come back and help Pedro Porro a bit more if he's struggling. I want to see him get involved more. Like in the last couple of games, I think last game he was better than the one before, but it hasn't been maybe the Mohamed Kudus that we've been seeing all season. So I want to see him get back to those levels. Be really hard to handle, keep those take-ons, get good crosses in the box, and just be a constant threat. And I know it's going to be hard because the better he gets, the more men they're putting on him, and it's kind of freeing up the other space. But I think Kudus hasn't been as good in the last couple of games, and he has been pretty much all season.
I just think we're so reliant on him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every long ball goes to him from a goal kick. If we go long, every long pass, every time we go through the channels, we look at Kudus. He's expected to hold the ball up. He's expected to beat 2 or 3 men. He's expected to create a chance as well. It's crazy. I think it's nuts at the moment how much we go for him. So, it's not sustainable to ask him to do as much. Like you're saying, he needs to be back to those levels, but being at those levels every game is not sustainable.
Yeah,
as much as I want.
Well, he's been off. He's been off those levels for 2 games, so now it's time to get back.
Fair.
So Kudus on the right, Javi Simmons in the middle, on the left. So Matisse Tel back into contention, obviously, because it's not a European game. Do we think I think, though, he's probably going to persist with Odegaard. I think Odegaard has been, getting better and better the last couple of games. There was an inkling. He didn't mention it in the press conference that he maybe picked up a bit of a knock in the game against Monaco, but he didn't mention anything, so you've got to assume he's fit.
Yeah, he obviously was touching his ribs, wasn't he? So maybe is Tell going to get the nod on the left with someone else up front, or is he going to stick with Odegaard, or even Brennan? Is Brennan got a shout?
I think it's Odegaard.
I want it to be Odegaard because I think he's playing the best at the moment. He's improving game on game. He's improving his confidence as well. So I hope it's Odegaard. But I wouldn't be, something tells me I wouldn't be surprised if Brennan plays.
I just think
he's got to play at some point, isn't he?
I know, but I think Frank is a guy who, if he sees someone I think Odegaard just needs to keep getting the minutes because he's looking good and he's looking better every game. So I think Frank's a guy, if he sees that, he's going to want to carry on playing the player.
I agree, but if he's had a little bit of a knock, and I'm not saying he's injured, but maybe he's not 100%, and maybe it's just chance. Okay, put Brendan in for one game and allow Odegaard a bit of a rest, bring him on with half an hour to go or something if it's not working. Maybe he's thinking like that, or he's thinking, maybe he is 100%, and maybe if he is 100%, maybe he'll just go with him. Yeah. And I hope that's the case. So,
but there's no suggestion in the press conference or anything that he's struggling with anything, is he? He didn't mention.
No, we just saw him struggle on Wednesday and go off.
Yeah. So look, we're going to go for Odegaard. So Kudus on the right, Odegaard on the left, Javi Simmons in the 10. Up top, who are we going for? So obviously the last two Premier League games, Tell has started in the 9. Richarlison started in the 9 against Monaco. Richarlison has really not been doing well the last couple of times he's played.
Does have a great record of Goodison though.
He does.
Scored 3 and 2 under Ange.
Yeah, 2 worldies as well in that game a couple of years back. I don't see him going for Richarlison. Moani's not fit enough to play, I don't think. So I think we'll see him come on. I think he's going to go for Matisse.
I think he's going to go for Tell as well. But the only problem is you got Tell up against 2 absolute shit brick houses in Tarkowski and Keane, and how that's going to fare is we're going to have to keep the ball on the ground and we're going to have to play through them. So I think I can see him getting bullied. That's what I'm worried about. But I do think, he's going to be fresh as well because he didn't play on Wednesday. So I do think he's going to go for Tell. I agree. The only thing is maybe could he go Tell on the left and maybe Richarlison up front, but I think he's just going to go Tell up front, yeah.
So let's go for Matisse Tell up top. So that is our predicted lineup. Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Jed Spence left back, Mickey van der Ven and Kevin Danso in the centre-back positions, João Palhinha and Pap Sarr in the double pivot with Javi Simmons in the 10, Kudus on the right, Odegaard on the left and Matisse Tell up top. That is our lineup to go to the Hill Dickinson Stadium and hopefully get all 3 points. Do you agree with our predicted lineup? Let us know in the comment section below, people. What are your thoughts? We move on, though. We move on to the match preview. Very, very difficult game. I don't think any team has gone to Everton and won as of yet, but there's always a first. There is always a first, and let's hope Spurs can be that team. It's not been great. A bit of a bad atmosphere brewing. I wouldn't say in the fan base. I'd say probably mainly on social media regarding how Spurs are playing at this moment in time. It's not been good enough the last couple of games. That's reality. We're conceding way too many chances, way too many shots, and when you compare that to the first part of the season, we just look like a really solid defensive unit. And that has kind of gone a little bit. I think we're going to be missing Romero really badly in this game. But Kevin Danso, I think this could be a game that actually really suits him. So
Frank, in his press conference, are we allowed to comment on what Frank said in his press conference?
You're allowed to do what you want, my friend.
He said he thinks we've had one bad game against Bournemouth, one bad half against Wolves and one bad half against Monaco. And then the rest has been good, or good plus.
Yeah, I think he's missing out the Bodo game because the Bodo game we were pretty dreadful. But no, I don't disagree with what he says there. Apart from the Bodo game,
I guess it depends. I think it depends what you're judging the team, what he's judging the team on. If he's looking at just purely on how solid are we, how compact are we, organised, how many chances are we giving away, I think then he's probably right. Apart from the Boda game, he's missed out. I agree. But if he's also looking at, how good are we in possession? How good are we at creating chances? How good are we at opening the opposition up? Then I would disagree. So it kind of depends on what aspects of the game he's looking at. I'd agree. Like in most of the other games, we have looked okay. Like in terms of defensively, there's been a few games, especially recently, where we've conceded a lot of chances. But I think, as a team, we've been good. And we've restricted the opposition to very little in a lot of these games. But going forward, I think there's been a load of games where we've been not good. It's not just going forward, it's more in possession, I would say. There's been a load of games where we haven't been good. And I understand that's a work in progress, but that also goes into your assessment, doesn't it?
It does, but also you got to compare it to maybe the opposition that you're playing on the day as well. And do you deserve to win? Do you deserve to take the points from the game? And when you're looking at those games that he's talking about, so the PSG game, we lost that game on penalties. Did we deserve more out of that game? Of course we did. Burnley 3-0. Nobody had... Look, it wasn't the perfect performance, but we deserved to win the game. We won 3-0. Maybe 3-0 flattered us a bit on the day, but, we were the better team and we deserved to win. Man City, we wiped the floor with them that day. We were brilliant. We deserved to win. Bournemouth, as he mentions, wasn't good enough. We were poor. We lost, deservedly so. West Ham, we won 3-0. We deserved to win the game. No excuses, no kind of disagreements there. Villarreal, we won 1-0. Maybe a draw was a fair reflection of the game. I think it was poor from both sides. I don't think neither side probably deserved to win that game. Brighton, we drew 2-2. I think we were the better side that day. I think we probably should have taken 3 points. Got sucker punched with the 2 goals that Brighton scored. Doncaster, obviously. Wolves, he's mentioned, good first half, which I personally thought it was a good first half. And
yeah, I agree.
And, I was saying at half-time that game, if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to win this game. No problem. The second half was just a shit show, which he mentioned. Bodo, we didn't mention. We were poor, deserved to lose. We managed to draw the game. Leeds, we won 2-1, and I think we just about edged the game. Probably deserved to win that game, just about. Villa I think we deserved more out of Villa, to be honest. We lost 2-1, but I don't think we deserved to lose the game. And Monaco was Monaco, which he mentioned. So, like, if you're judging us against the opposition that we played on the day, then more times than not, like we've either got what we deserved or should have got more in some of the games.
That's a fair assessment. But I just think, I think that's fair. But I think when he talks about we've been good or good plus, what's a good performance? Is it just, when you talk about Villarreal, but he's talking about Villarreal and talking about Leeds, talking about Villa as being good performances. Like, they weren't that great. That's all I would say. They weren't like great performances if you're taking everything into account. They were fine in some aspects, but not good in other aspects. So I think to put them in good category is a bit, I don't know. I don't know if I would, but look, I think you're right. I think in most of the games, the results have been pretty fair.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So look, it's been up and down. I think there's more good to take from the opening 11, 12 games, however many it's been, than bad. But obviously, it's a beginning of a tenure. You expect ups and downs and inconsistencies at 100%. But the reality is, the recent games, 3 out of the last 4 games have not been good enough. And that's where we're at right now, and we need to put it right this weekend against Everton. And it ain't going to be easy. Jack Grealish, a whole week rested, 2 weeks rested, really, because he didn't play against... actually, like 3 or 4 weeks rested because he didn't play the international break either. So he is going to be chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. He's been brilliant so far for Everton. The way he's attacking on that left-hand side, constant threat for Everton. He's been a revelation since joining Everton from Man City.
We turned our nose up at him.
Yeah, we did, and it was a mistake. It was a mistake. I think he would slot straight in for us on that left-hand side.
Absolutely. It's a big regret of mine, because I thought, has he lost his hunger? Has he lost that spark about him that obviously made him what he was at Villa and maybe in the early years of City? Like, he just had that swagger about him. And then the last few years at City, after winning that treble, it was like it kind of seemed to me like he was like, okay, job done. I'm a treble winner. Like he's got nothing else to prove, and he seemed to go off the boil. But it seems like a new environment, a team where he's the main man. It all goes through him, and he's flying again.
Exactly. So I'm worried about coming up against him. I think Iliman Ndiaye is having a really good season so far. He plays out on the right-hand side.
I think they complement each other really well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something that we need to be very wary of. Their threats from the wide areas. They got Dewsbury Hall in the 10 as well, who's had a decent season. But, you know, where Everton are so good at is how physical they are in the middle of the park. Their defenders as well, Tarkowski, such a physical customer. So we can't have like a lackluster performance. Like we were talking about the intensity and you're talking about the physicality that Spurs have showed, maybe a bit of a drop-off in the last couple of weeks. That can't happen in this game. Otherwise, we're going to get eaten alive. We need to be at our physical and intense best if we're going to take anything from this game.
Frank said in his press he's absolutely convinced we're going to be more intense and more competitive in this game than we were on Wednesday.
Do you believe him?
Yeah, I believe him. There's no reason not to. And he said he's made some structural adjustments. He said going into this game, so I'll wait to see what those are and what that means. But I think that's a good thing if he's identified, you know, what's working, what's not working, and changes it. Which is, you know, we know that's what Frank does. He analyzes the performance, he goes through it, and he'll make the tweaks he thinks will work. But he did say, I'm convinced we'll be more competitive, more intense, but he doesn't know whether we'll be more fluid and more, you know, from the attacking point of view. And still, you know, he's kind of admitting that's still work in progress, and he doesn't know in this game whether it's going to start to click. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I think it's clear for everyone to see. It's not exactly where probably he wants it to be, or definitely where not the fans want it to be at this moment in time. You're looking at, we spoke about, you know, unbeaten at home. They've only conceded 2 goals so far this season at the Hill Dickinson. However, on the other hand, though, Spurs are the best away team in the Premier League. So you're coming up against a very strong team, against a very strong away team. This does have the potential and the possibility. Vinny, are we
down?
Are we down?
Says excellent for me.
Are we okay?
Okay,
no,
we're back
okay.
up.
Sorry. So, you know, if West Ham can go there and get a draw.
Yeah. And that was under Potter, wasn't it?
No, it was under Nuno's first game.
Oh, Nuno's first game.
They got a draw, so it's not like a impossible place to go, and maybe it'll be a nice thing to be the first team to go there and get the win. It's not impossible. They're not like this crazy good team where you go there and you're thinking we got no chance. I don't believe that. I think we'll probably have periods where we're on top, and we'll have periods where we're dominating. But are we going to be good enough, and are we going to have enough guile, enough creativity? Are we going to create enough chances to go there and win the game? I just don't know.
We haven't won at Everton in such a long time. Prime Pochettino, or not prime Pochettino, but, you know, a very good Pochettino side, 6-2.
It was the last time.
The last time we won there.
Although we haven't been to this stadium yet.
No, but I'm saying just away at Everton in general. Like Goodison was a very hard place to go to in its own right? But 6-2 away. If I would have told you at the final whistle of that game, this is the last time we're going to beat Everton until 2025, 2026.
Because we had a good record before then.
Yeah.
So
it's been a lot of draws, to be fair. They haven't beaten. It's been a draw every time since then, apart from last year when we lost 3-2.
Yeah. So we know it's not an easy place to go, but they also have trouble beating us as well.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at how we're attacking at the moment, and unless we're going to get the advantages from set pieces and whatnot, which I don't know if we will in this game, because that's where Everton have their strength as well. So where are we going to get these advantages? Unless we can open them up through that bit of technical guile and technical ability, which I do think we are superior at with a lot of our players. But I just look at the game, I'm looking at the matchups, I'm like, I don't know whether this is a game where I'm looking at going, we're going to win this. And the problem is, if we don't win this, then you look at the fixtures, are like, okay, when are we going to win?
Yeah.
That's obviously a problem. But I think what I reckon is we're probably going to not win this game. Everyone's going to melt down, and then we're going to pull a surprise on the other games.
Probably. I mean, one place where I think we'll have an advantage is Mohamed Kudus out on the right-hand side. Again, look, he's up against the good right-hand side in Idrissa Gueye in that side of the midfield, and also Mykolenko at left-back. Mykolenko's a very good player. He's had a very good start to the season, but I think Kudus can have the better of him.
Yeah, Kudus is obviously so physical, so strong, and so fast. I think Mykolenko is quite a technical fullback. He's got a very good left foot. He's quite strong, but he's not the quickest. And I think if Kudus gets a run on him, I think that's one area where maybe he can think and get the better of him. But when it comes to long balls into Kudus, getting him to hold it up and get it on his chest and take it down, I think Mykolenko fancy those kind of battles. But I think when it gets on the ground and he's taking him on, that's where Mykolenko's got to worry, I think.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Mykolenko's getting himself booked this weekend up against Kudus. It's going to be a good battle, isn't it? Because he's always up for the battle, Mykolenko. On the other side, though, with Wilson Odobert, who's probably going to up against like O'Brien and Garner. Like O'Brien's probably like double the size of Wilson Odobert. So I am a bit worried about that kind of matchup.
But Odobert's got a lower centre of gravity, so maybe you can drink past him. Sometimes that can work in your favour, because I don't think O'Brien's got the biggest turn of pace. Yeah. But he's obviously very tall, very good in the air, so I wouldn't be playing a lot of long passes to Odobert. Yeah. But midfield is, again, obviously we're predicting Sarr and Paulinho, but, they've got Garner, Idrissa Gueye, and Dewsbury Hall. And those two are very physical, Garner and Idrissa Gueye. How they hound you, they don't let you breathe a lot of the time. You need to be very good on the ball to handle that. And that's what part of me is like, I don't know if Sarr and Paulinho, I mean, they'll match them when it comes to physicality. I just hope they don't but if they get bullied in any way, then that's a big problem. Yeah, I mean, Sarr and Paulinho shouldn't be getting bullied. Not in this game. Like, not in any game, really. They've got the physical edge to bully other teams as opposed to getting bullied. Especially João Paulinho. Like, when have you ever seen João Paulinho get bullied? Like, he's not going to get bullied. He's going to be putting in full-blooded challenges. He's going to be doing the best to win that midfield battle. And I think they're better on the ball as well. I think they've got the physical edge and they're better on the ball as what Everton have. So I think there's a big possibility that we can go there and win the midfield battle. I'm worried about it. I think Garner's actually very underrated on the ball. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He is good. But I still think we've got the superior players here. Yeah, we've got the superior players. I think on the ball, I think definitely you could argue Sarr and Paulinho don't offer that much, really, to be honest, when it comes to real quality passing through the lines. I think Garner actually offers quite a bit. He's actually a really good passer, and he mixes it up with real brute force and physicality. Idrissa Gueye is a experienced customer now. He's 37 now. He's getting on a bit, but he's still got a bit about him physically. He can run all day. He's still got that about him. And I've seen them this season give midfields a real bad, tough game. So I'm just worried on the ball again. If we're gonna look, to be honest, it's not. I don't even know if it's about specifically Everton's midfield. It's just how we're setting up in midfield at the moment. Just continuously, playing those sideways passes, not looking to break those lines. Are we going to be doing that again? Probably, to be honest, that would be my prediction. But, yeah, I think it will just be one of those games. It's going to be one on moments, this game. I don't think it's going to be one or the other side really dominating. I think it's going to be a real physical battle. And I think big moments like set pieces or wonder goals or stuff like that are going to win this game. Do you see us having the advantage at set pieces? I don't know. I think both teams are really good at attacking set pieces. I don't think either side has an advantage here on set pieces. I just feel like... I think they do. I'm not sure. I know they're very good at it, but I think we're good at it as well. We are, but I think I look at their team, I just think they're that little bit more physical. When you add in whether it's Barry or Beto, they're both two absolute units. Mm-hmm. You've got Keane and Tarkowski. You've got O'Brien there as well. You've also got Garner in there, and you've got some technical players who can play the ball in, like Grealish and Dewsbury Hall from either side. I look at our team, and you've got Danso, who's good. Van der Ven's decent. I think either fullback from set pieces or anything special.
Paulinho.
Paulinho is good, yeah. But then after Paulinho, if we're going with the team we're predicting, Odegaard, Simmons, maybe Tell, quite small.
Yeah, but it's also not just about the personnel you've got there, but it's also about how you set up from set pieces. And I think we have looked very dangerous. I know Everton have obviously always very dangerous from set pieces, and they're always one of the top of the set pieces every single season. So they're obviously very experienced at it over the last couple of years, but I do think we're getting better. And on our day, hopefully we have our day, we can hurt anyone from set pieces, including Everton.
Right, but I'm saying who's going to have the advantage? I feel like Everton might. That's what I'm worried about. And this game could be decided on that.
Could
and
be.
I feel like it's in it. If I'm an analyst, I'm looking
You
at
are an analyst.
Well, if I'm analysing the situation, which I am, I just see Everton having the advantage there. And I think they're more physical, they've got more strength, and they're very good at their setup at set pieces. They're very good at routines, and that's their bread and butter. We are getting better, but when was the last time we scored from a corner? Can't remember off the top of my head. We did score one against Boda. It wasn't a corner though; it was like a free kick, which we whipped in early. Leeds, no. Villa was a free kick. I guess that was a set piece.
It's the last game we scored in.
That's the last goal. That was kind of that was a free kick. Yeah, I mean, we scored a couple, I guess.
Yeah, and we've also got those long throws as well with Kevin Danso, which I think are getting more dangerous as the weeks progress. So that's another area where we can hurt Everton. But so what is your score prediction?
I'm going 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tough for us. I don't see us really being good enough to win, to be honest. I think if we were in a better moment where we were playing a bit better football and a bit more fluid, I think we had a better chance of winning. I just think at the moment, the period where we are as a team, I think we're very organised, we're very strong. I know we've been conceded a lot of chances the last few games, but I think hopefully we get on top of that. And I think it's easier to get on top of than getting your team to be fast and fluid. I think that's a lot harder to do. And I also think, as much as Everton have been good, they're not a team that's going to, create loads and loads of chances. I think you can, because Moyes is always going to be a bit of a pragmatist. He's never going to be all-out attack. I'm not worried about Everton just creating 10 chances, but I think they're good enough to create 2 or 3. And I also don't know if we're good enough to create more than 2 or 3.
No matter who our manager is, we've always seemed to struggle against Moyes teams, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think both teams are going to find a moment of quality. I'm just hoping. I'm worried we're going to lose, but I'm hoping we can get away with a draw. So 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be any result, win, lose or draw, wouldn't be all round. Like you could see all 3 happening. To be honest, depends who turns up and how they turn up on the day. My prediction on Prem was 1-1. The hopeful Ben in me thinks that we can go there and get 3 points, but yeah, we're going to need to be at our best, especially in the intensity and physicality side if we're going to go and win this game. I'm just hoping that Javi Simmons can really make the difference in this game from the 10. He hasn't done so far, and there's not going to be too much space for him to really operate in those areas. But we need him to really turn up in this game. We need Mohamed Kudus to be back to his very best if we're going to, be a consistent threat in the game. I'm going to go for 1-1 as well. I'm going to stick with my 1-1.
I also think I might predict a win if we had Romero and Udogie, but we don't. That's also a massive thing for me. I think if we had those 2 available, I actually think maybe I would predict a win.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is the match preview. Both of us going for a 1-1 draw. Let us know your score predictions in the comment section below. Vinny, we got time for the next segment, or should we end it there? No time. All right. Well, unfortunately, that is all we have time for you guys today. We shall see you all on Sunday. So I'll be going up to Goodison Park. Sim will be here with Marlon for the watch along. Well, I say Goodison Park. The Hill Dickinson I'll be going up to. First time ever, obviously. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, Spurs.